Hi, I'm Azzy from AP Crafty Ideas 147. I'm going to show you how to make both of these beautiful sentiment aperture cards on my ScanNCut. The aperture for the sentiment for both cards is exactly the same, so that's the part I'm going to show you how to do first. So if you go into patterns, go into basic shapes, pick a square, set it onto the mat, go into edit, object edit and resize. So now what I'm going to do is take off the aspect ratio and I want to make the height 1/2 inch. So take that down to 1/2. And I want to make the width for the top part of the sentiment 2 inches. So just take that down to 2. And say OK. Now the second part of the sentiment, so if you're going to duplicate, +1, say OK. So this bit here, the second part, all I'm going to do is going to resize, take off the aspect ratio and make the width up to 2.5. So just take that up to 250 and say OK. Here we want to align both the boxes so the top one sits equally above the bottom one. So if go into the magnifying glass, go into 400, move it down so that we can actually see them. So the top box, all I want to do is move that so that it's actually sitting on one line of the mat. So if you just take that up to there. So we know that this is 1/2 inch. Now when we bring the bottom box up, I want to leave 1/4 inch between the two sentiments. So this box here, I'm just going to move halfway so that it leaves 1/4 inch. So I'm just going to take that up. And it's a bit of a guesstimate, but you can more or less see that it's 1/2 of the 1/2 inch. So that looks about okay. So go into OK. Now we want to align it so that they are centrally, horizontally above each other. So we want to pick up both elements on the mat, say OK, go into the arrows, go into the alignment function and go into centrally, horizontally. Now both of those are sat equally on top of each other. Say OK, say OK, go into object edit and go into group. Say OK, say OK, and we want to save that into our machine. Say OK, say OK, and once it's saved, go back to the front screen. First of all, I'm going to show you how to align the aperture on the floral card. So if you go into patterns, go into basic shapes, go into a square, set it onto the mat. Now this actual card is 7 inches high by 4.5 inches in width, but I'm going to make that 9 inches so that it's the full card before we obviously fold it in half. So if go into edit, go into object edit and resize, take off the aspect ratio, make the width of the card 9, and take the height to 7. And say OK. From here, which is going to OK, but we want to go into add, go into retrieve data, go into the machine, page down and find where you've saved the aperture bit that we did at the start. Press onto there, say OK, and here it is onto the mat. So here we've got both the card and the aperture on the mat. So now we want to place the aperture to the top part of the front of the card. So if you go into edit, go into the magnifying glass, and we just want to move this out because otherwise it doesn't let you sort of anchor it to move it around. So first of all, what we want to do is place the card so that it sits on the front of the card, sits on the two lines of the mat here. So if I go into 400, you'll be able to see it better. Take that up. So here, what I want to do is move the card up a bit more. There we go. So it's sitting on the line, and just move it a couple to the right. There we go. So the front of the card is now sitting on two lines of the mat. Now what we want to do is align the aperture on the front of the card. So I want the top of the aperture to be 1 inch down, so that'll be sitting there. So let's move that down first. There we go. So that's sitting exactly where I want it on the card, but this side of the aperture I want to sit 1 inch within the card, because that's 2.5 inches, but our card overall is 4.5, so it'll have 1 inch either side. So if you just move that over so that it sits, let's go there a bit more, a bit more. Nearly there. And I think, there we go. So now we've got it sitting 1 inch down and 1 inch in. So, but you could have it as further down as you wish. I want it to be 1 inch down. If you want it further down, just move it further down. But depending on how wide your aperture is, you just need to centre it from the centre of the card itself. So being as that's 4.5 inches and the aperture is 2.5, it'll have 1 inch either side. So when you're doing your cards, try to make them so that it is as easy to centre it like I have done here, instead of using like halves or thirds. It just makes it a bit more difficult and awkward to do, really. So at this point, we just want to say OK, go into select all on the mat, say OK, go into object edit and group. So now this is one whole card ready to just cut. So at this present time, I'm just going to save it into the machine, and when you're ready, just put your card in and run it through, and the aperture will cut and you've got the card ready. So just going to save, go into the machine, say OK. Say OK, and back to the front screen. After cutting the card in my Scan and Cut, I've scored it in half and folded it, and in the aperture I've just stamped Special Friend and added some diamantes. This is a simple, quick and effective card. To make the DL style card, I'm going to go into Patterns, go into Basic Shapes, I'm going to page down and find the L shape here. I'm going to set that onto the mat, go into Edit, go into Object Edit. I want to resize that to 3/4 of an inch. So go into Resize and just take it down to 0.75. Oh, it's way too far. And say OK. And also what I want to do is mirror image it. So I just want to go into here and flip it over. So that's that part done. And say OK, say OK, go into Add, go into Pattern, Basic Shapes, go into Square, set it onto the mat. Now the full size of a DL card is 8 by 8. So just want to change the size of that square to 8 by 8 inches. So go into Resize and just take it up to 8 by 8. And say OK. Then what we want to do is go into OK, go into OK, and again go into Add, but this time go into Retrieve Data, go into the machine, go down to where we saved the aperture parts what we did initially. So that should be here. And say OK, and it's set it here onto the mat. Here I want to bring the so-called card down to the bottom of the mat, and the aperture, and this little backward L. Bring that down. Let's get that on the arrows and bring that down. Now that little L, that's just so that we can align the aperture exactly where we want it on our card. So if you go into the magnifying glass, go into 400 and go down, find where we've got both of the, here we are. So what we want to do is align this little L into the corner of the card here. So if we just take it right so that it's sitting on the actual card lines, there we go, take it to the side. So that's sitting right, whoops, that's sitting right on the corner of the DL card at the front. So now what we want to do is place the sentiment, where the sentiment will go, right into the corner here, and that will place it accurately 3/4 of a centimetre from the bottom and 3/4 of a centimetre, sorry, inch from the right. Let's just move that over. What's going on today? Right, okay, here we are. Right, so we've got the sentiment aperture exactly where we want it on the DL card. So what we want to do here is say OK with the arrows, pick up the little backward L and just put it in the bin because we don't need that now. So now we've got the aperture exactly where we want it on the card. So now we need to go into select both items on the mat, say OK, go into object edit and group it. And now we've got our DL card, so when we score it down the middle, we can put our sentiment here, and we've got the area here to decorate it. So just go into OK, go into save it into the machine and say OK. To retrieve the card, just go into retrieve data, go into the machine, page all the way down, that's where the last data will be that you've saved in your machine. So here's the DL card on my machine, and here's the side folding card that we did the first one, and this is just the aperture bit that we did at first. So we don't no longer need that, so that can just be binned. But if you do want to make different cards, or cards where you want to put the aperture in different places, then maybe just keep that so you can just place it in different areas within your card and then just cut them out. So I'm just going to put both this one and the DL one onto my mat, cut it, decorate it, and I'll show you what I've done. So the DL card, once I cut it in the machine, scored it down the middle, so now it measures 4 by 8 inches. In the aperture I have stamped and heat embossed a happy birthday. I've made it into a mail card. Again, just a quick, simple but effective card for when, especially when you need cards in a hurry. I hope this has given you some ideas of making cards with your ScanNCut. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope you can join me next time.